Ukrainians and the dreaded Iranian drones. The so-called drones by civilians are called UAVs or unmanned aerial vehicles. They can be used to conduct artillery fire, in so-called leg kicks or preset itineraries to reveal automatic weapons positions and enemy command posts, as electronic warfare platforms, and in missile or kamikaze attack when launching against targets by exploding and destroying forces. Enemies. The use of these aerial artifacts has increased in modern combats due to their low cost and self-destructive and informational power. Who is providing drones? Russia is now buying Shahed military drones from Iran, according to the White House. Houthi rebel forces in Yemen used these drones to attack targets in Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. Iran's most advanced drones that could serve the Russian purpose, the Shahed 149 Gaza and Shahed 171 Simorgh models produced by Iranian state-owned Shahed Aviation Industries, look like exact copies of unmanned aircraft used by the U.S. military. Shahed 149 Gaza. In service with the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Aerospace Force since April 2022, the Shahed 149 Gaza, named in reference to the Palestinian struggle in the Gaza Strip, in a clear provocation to Israel, is a long-range UAV designed for reconnaissance and attack. A quick glance at the drone is enough to notice that it is, at the very least, inspired by the American model MQ-9 Reaper by General Atomics. Shahed 171 Simorgh. Drone with a jet engine in the shape of a flying wing and stealth capability, invisible to radar, the Shahed 171 Simorgh is a UAV designed for reconnaissance operations. Unlike the Shahed 149 Gaza, which is suspected of being a copy of the MQ-9 Reaper, the Simorgh was entirely reverse-engineered from Lockheed Martin's US RQ-170 Sentinel drone. In 2011, a U.S. spy model crashed in eastern Iran's Kashmir province and was captured by the Iranian military. Shortly after losing the drone in Iranian territory, the U.S. asked for the aircraft to be returned, which was promptly denied by Iran. 4 years later, the Simorgh produced by Shahed began flight tests and was soon introduced into the country's military fleet. The U.S. is supplying Ukraine with around 700 Switchblade kamikaze military drones. Faced with this increasingly challenging scenario due to the use of drones, the question remains how to stop these weapons that are shaping modern combat? It is true that, because they are small targets, they fly at low speeds, being able to use low-altitude flights on paths unraveled by ravines, are difficult to detect, monitor and destroy, enjoying extreme mobility and getting confused in the chaotic battlefield. In this video, we will focus on 2 ways of blocking drones, namely monitoring and anti-drone countermeasures. Drone monitoring equipment can be passive, simply looking or listening, or active, sending a signal and analyzing what it returns, and can perform a number of functions, including detection, classification or identification, location and tracking, alert. You should be aware that not all equipment performs all of the above functionality at the same time. Detection means the technology can detect drones. Detection alone is usually not enough. A radar that detects drones can also detect birds, for example. That's why sorting is useful. The technology that classifies drones will often be able to separate drones from other types of objects, like planes, trains, and automobiles, for example. A step further is the identification of the drone model, or even identifying the fingerprint of the drone or controller. This level of identification can be useful for the purposes of a viable response to this threat. Being alerted that a drone is already useful. But if you know the exact location of the drone and/or controller, if possible in real time, it will allow its neutralization or destruction. There are 4 main types of drone monitoring equipment. Radio frequency, RF, analyzers. Acoustic sensors, microphones. Optical sensors, cameras. Radar. Radio frequency, RF, analyzers. RF analyzers consist of 1 or more antennas for receiving radio waves and a processor for analyzing the RF spectrum. They are used to try to detect radio communication between a drone and its controller. Some systems can identify the most common drone makes and models, and some can even identify the MAC addresses of the drone and controller if the drone uses Wi-Fi for communication. Some high-end systems can also triangulate the drone and its controller by using multiple separate radio units. Pros: can be low cost, detects, and sometimes identifies multiple drones and controlled res, passive, so no license needed. Some can triangulate the drone and controller position. Cons: does not always locate and track drones, cannot detect autonomous drones, less effective in crowded, typically short-range RF areas. Acoustic sensors, microphones. Typically a microphone, or microphone array, many microphones, that detects the sound made by a drone and calculates a direction. More sets of microphone arrays can be used for rough triangulation. Pros: detects all drones in the near field, including those that operate autonomously, without RF emissions, highly mobile and fast to deploy if fully passive. Cons: does not work as well in noisy environments, very short range, max 300-500 m. Optical sensors, cameras. Essentially a video camera. Like standard daylight cameras, optical sensors can be infrared or thermal imaging. Pros: provides visuals on the drone and its payload, potential or threat level. Cons: difficult to use for detection by itself, high false alarm rates, mostly poor performance in dark, fog, etc. Radar: a device that uses radio energy to detect an object. The drone detection radar sends a signal and receives the reflection, measuring the direction and distance, position. Most radars send out their radio signal as a burst, then hear the echo. Almost all radars are designed not to pick up small targets. They are designed for tracking large objects such as attack planes and helicopters. Pro: long range, constant tracking, highly accurate location, can handle hundreds of targets simultaneously, can track all drones regardless of autonomous flight, regardless of visual conditions, day, night, fog, etc. Cons: detection range depends on drone size, most do not distinguish birds from drones, require broadcast license and frequency check to avoid interference. Drone countermeasures equipment. Countermeasures can be grouped as physically destroying the drone, neutralizing the drone, taking control of the drone, radio frequency jammers. An RF jammer is a static, mobile or handheld device that transmits a large amount of RF energy to the drone, masking the controller signal. This results in one of 4 scenarios, depending on the drone. Drone makes a controlled landing at its current position. Drone returns to user-defined home location, which can be set to a target position instead of home. Drone crashes to the ground. Drone flies in an uncontrolled random direction. Pros: average cost, non-kinetic neutralization. Cons: short range, may affect and obstruct other radio communications, may result in unpredictable drone behavior, may unintentionally send the drone to its target. GPS counterfeiters. This device sends a new signal to the drone, replacing the communication with the GPS satellites it uses for navigation. In this way, the drone is spoofed to think it is somewhere else. By dynamically changing the GPS coordinates in real time, the drone's position can be controlled by the spoofer. Once control is gained, the drone can be directed to a safe zone, for example. Pros: average cost, non-kinetic neutralization. Cons: short range, can affect and block other radio communications. High-power microwave, HPM, devices. High-power microwave, HPM, devices generate an electromagnetic pulse, EMP, capable of interrupting electronic devices. The EMP interferes with radio links and disrupts or even destroys electronic circuits in drones, as well as any other electronic devices within range, due to the harmful voltage and currents it creates. HPM devices can include an antenna to focus the EMP in a certain direction, reducing potential collateral damage. Pros: Within range, the drone can be stopped effectively, not kinetically. Cons: high cost, risk of unintentionally interrupting communications or destroying other electronic devices in the area. The drone instantly shuts down by falling wildly to the ground. Now let's stop for a moment and take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel, so you can follow all the events closely and give your thumbs up. Mais sobre o texto original.